Hi, I'm Cody from Wall Street Breakdown. You know what? It's Friday, October 27th, and earnings on Fridays are usually a lot easy. We're getting a bit of a reprieve because through the middle of the week there, those were some earnings calls, weren't they? Today, we're going to look at four earnings calls. People like to leave the earnings calls a lot of the time, or companies, from Friday or from Monday, because the fact of the matter is that a lot of traders, they can take off Thursday night a lot of the times if you have a good week, and sometimes not come back till Monday late in the morning or early in the afternoon. There's no point in putting news out those days. It's just not the same. It's not the same feeling. It's not the same vibe. The middle of the week is when it counts. So we get a couple trickle in, but it makes Fridays a lot more relaxed, and we can really take a look at what these companies did. So we're going to take a look again. In the description, there'll be the time spots if you want to take a look just at individual companies. We're going to look at AbbVie. We're going to look at Exxon Mobil, one of the biggest companies in the world, Chevron, and up here in Canada, Esso or Imperial Oil. So the first company we're going to look at is AbbVie. AbbVie's earnings per share of $1.41 beat the street by 3 cents. The revenue of $7 billion was in line, and that was up 9.5% year over year. Humira, one of their best-selling drugs, up another 15.8%. Imbruvica, up 37.3%. But on the flip side, some of their other drugs that are large assets for AbbVie, HCV down 26.8%, and Caltera down 38.4%. So, I mean, while you see some of the bigger drugs, Humira being the big drug, building still 15.8%, it's, you want to see them doing a little bit better, but when we compare, again, we talked about this yesterday, when we compare a lot of the other pharmaceutical earnings that we've seen, at least we're taking a look at AbbVie really hitting it home. Revenue number up, EPS beating. Humira, the big drug, is still up another 15.8%. So while some stuff is down, the street still thought, as far as pharmaceutical companies go, AbbVie doing a better job than most so far through the earnings season. I mean, this is much better than like the Bristol Myers one we saw yesterday. So AbbVie 91.93 to close the day. That's up 2.65%. That's not bad going into a Friday. Exxon Mobil, one of the largest companies in the world, earnings per share of 93 cents, beat the street by 7 cents. And only a company this large could do a revenue number of $66.2 billion in the quarter. And that beat estimates by $2.81 billion. You don't see that a lot. Like, we see beat by, a couple billion, but like 2.81 billion. I mean, that's significant beat, right? And that's up 12.8% in revenue year over year. And this is Exxon Mobil. This is a company that, how do you make more money than all the money in the world? Exxon found a way to make 12.8% more. Good for them. That's good for you guys. That's how you pump oil out of the ground. Harvey reduced EPS, they say, by 4 cents. So EPS could have been even higher than the 93 that it was. They're saying it could have been closer to 97 or maybe even 98 if it wasn't for Hurricane Harvey. Cash flow from operations and assets overall through the whole company up 33%. The upstream segment is up. The downstream segment is up. The chemical earnings, that's the only thing that was down slightly. Exxon Mobil doing a marvelous job, 83.71 to close the day. That's up 0.29%, but I mean, are you ever going to go wrong owning Exxon? I mean, licensed professional financial advisor, sir or ma'am, you're going to have to speak to one of those, but are you ever going to go wrong owning Exxon Mobil is a question I pose to you, not a rhetorical question. You do the due diligence and figure it out for yourself. Chevron, earnings per share of $1.03, beat the street by 5 cents. Revenues of $36.2 billion. Much like Exxon, massive company, beat the street by $2.14 billion, and that revenue number is up 20.1%. Chevron, not the size of Exxon Mobil, but still, I mean, that is a significant rev jump. That's Chevron, Exxon Mobil, definitely in the exact same business, right? So gains, though, and Now, Chevron wants people to know that some of the gains included were a $675 million asset sale, and I believe it was like a $250 million asset write-off that actually would have made the EPS closer to 85 cents a share, which would have been a miss from the 97 cents that was estimated. It would have been a significant miss. So we want to keep that in mind. While that rev number is 20% year over year, and they beat on the revs by 2.14 billion and beat on the EPS. The EPS was supposed to be 97, they got 103, but that 103 was garnered from a couple of one-time things. It would have actually been 85 cents. So production's up 8 cents. Upstream lost only 26 million as opposed to 212 million last year. But Chevron closed the day at 113.54. That's down 4.14%, and that's probably because in reality that's a pretty big EPS miss. So while everything else was up, the EPS, in theory, without the one-timers, missed a big chunk, and all the analysts would have those one-timers in there as well. So it's a miss. Imperial Oil, that's Esso up here in Canada, if you're a Canadian, earnings per share of 44 cents Canadian, missed by 9 cents. Revenues of 7.2 billion, missed by 990 million. Again, these are all in Canadian rupees. That revenue number is off by 3.2% year over year. So basically, this thing is worth, like some Starbucks gift cards or something, because it's Canada, right? Our money's a joke. You know what I mean. So Imperial Oil closed the day 31.96. That was up 3%. Overall, it was a lot of oil companies doing earnings calls today. There was a couple other companies, but it was nothing that really jumped off the page as something I thought was prudent. We got our earnings call in a little under 7 minutes so far. I thought it was pretty good as far as Exxon, Chevron, and AbbVie. Nothing really jumped off the page as a bad earnings call. The Chevron thing, obviously, we'd like to see that EPS number get back up there, but a lot of the underlying numbers still end up looking pretty good for Chevron, including the big rev jump, 20%. So it was a pretty good earnings call for Friday, I thought, especially considering it was a lot less news. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm Cody from Wall Street Breakdown. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, leave a like for this video, for all the videos. Give one for yourself too, because hey, you at least showed up and we're having a good time. Leave a comment, let us know how we're doing. We love hearing from you, and we want you to have a safe and prosperous weekend. We will see you back here on Monday